Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well. Now, are these 10 genuine reasons why liar Boris Johnson was a vile PM? What I mean by this? Well, these clips are from the 25th of this year, when the long-awaited Sue Gray report had come out, and now Boris Johnson was being held to account within the House of Commons for what was happening in number 10, while everyone else was, following the rules his government had set. I will explain why I've done this after they have torn our lying PM a new backside, so without further ado, lest we forget.
Dame Angela Riedel.
Mr. Speaker, we all understand, and the Prime Minister understands, that not being truthful on the floor of this House requires a resignation. My honourable friend, the member for Hornsey and Wood Green, asked the Prime Minister a point-blank question on the floor of this House when he was at that dispatch box. She asked him if he had been to a party on the 13th of November in 10 Downing Street. He said he hadn't and that no party had happened. There are 4 pictures of it. Mr. Speaker, featured in the Sue Gray report. Will the Prime Minister account now on the floor of the House for his answer to that very specific question?
Joanna.
Speaker, neither I nor my Edinburgh South West constituents would wish to live in a state where the government of the day could influence the police in the exercise of their duty to investigate without fear or favour. So we're puzzled as to why the Prime Minister didn't receive questionnaires in respect of 3 gatherings where other people in number 10 received questionnaires. And we're also puzzled as to why the ABBA party in the Prime Minister's flat has never been investigated either by Sue Gray or the Metropolitan Police. So can I ask the Prime Minister what can be done by way of an independent investigation to assure me and my constituents that the Metropolitan Police have not been nobbled?
Coulter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After months of shuffling around, prevarication and buck passing, this report makes it absolutely clear that when the British public were taking those restrictions seriously, the Prime Minister was taking the British public for fools. That's why the Prime Minister and his government cannot now be taken seriously. Isn't it time he said goodbye so that the rest of us could say good riddance?
Boris Sheerman.
Mr. Speaker, the last time I asked the Prime Minister a question on this subject, I said the problem with him, and I've got on with him over the years, is he is a serial offender. And even serial offenders, if they actually confess that they've done wrong and then repent for what they've done, they can actually be forgiven because they're mending their ways. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, but today's performance from the Prime Minister shows no real remorse, trying to shift the buck on other people, and I believe now, with all many faces I see on the other side, that he should now resign.
Angus MacNeil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. While he is still unwittingly a great asset for Scottish independence, the question everywhere, however, is how to goodness is he still Prime Minister of this current United Kingdom?
Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What a load of baloney. Excuse after excuse after excuse, and it simply doesn't wash, and it won't wash with the British public, who are sick and tired of being taken for fools. The truth is, the Prime Minister encouraged the gatherings. He attended the gatherings. He poured the drinks at the gatherings. And he even raised a toast at the gatherings, so he knew perfectly well that these gatherings had taken place. And the most despicable thing of all is that Sue Gray says she saw multiple examples of a lack of respect and poor treatment of security and cleaning staff because they knew what the rules meant, even if nobody else does. Does he show no contrition, no sense of shame that Downing Street under him has been a cesspit full of arrogant, entitled narcissists?
Saville Roberts.
To call this a damning report for the Prime Minister is an understatement. It states the senior leadership at the centre, both political and official, must bear responsibility for this culture, both political and official. For 168 days, he's used Sue Gray as a human shield against this duty. In this farce of a parliamentary system, it's now all down to Tory MPs, and there are not many left here, for them to grow a backbone and oust this moral vacuum of a Prime Minister. Will he spare them the trouble and resign?
Afzal Karl.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My mother, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law are just 3 of the nearly 180,000 people who died from COVID-19 in Britain. The laws broken by the Prime Minister, the Chancellor and others were not victimless crimes. They were not silly rules and meaningless red tape. They were designed to protect lives. Mr. Speaker, the doctors and nurses who cared for my relatives at North Manchester General Hospital were not clocking off for Wine Time Friday. So for the first time in his life, will the Prime Minister do the right thing and resign?
Mr. McGovern.
Mr. Speaker, I don't believe that the Prime Minister has any credibility left, because my constituents tell me that they don't believe what he says. So I want to ask the Prime Minister about what I think to be the bare minimum in this situation. When it comes to the cleaning staff and the security staff in number 10 treated with a lack of respect, has the Prime Minister personally apologised to them?
Wishart.
Rarely in my 21 years in this House have I heard such utter drivel than what we've been presented to today. I've tried to find words to capture what the Prime Minister said. Disingenuous, delusional, slippery, self-serving, and I know I can't say dishonest in this place. No attempt at remorse, all somebody else's fault. Surely if he was half the man that he thinks he is, he would summon that self-respect and just go.
Now you may be asking, why didn't I show Bodge answering the questions? Well, because he just didn't really answer them. It was just his mealy-mouthed way of just being obnoxious sometimes and then trying to act all contrite and show contrition, which was pathetic. Anyway, why would you want to listen to that vile individual anyway? Just showed no contrition whatsoever. Some of the answers were pathetic. So why would I put you through that? No, plus I get the feeling you guys would prefer to hear people who you voted for to represent you explaining why this complete oaf was never fit to grace the Prime Minister's office. So, again, lest we forget, and I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I do hope it showed that these people, they are really speaking for you. Might not feel like it, but these people really do take their jobs very seriously. So I shall leave this video here, and until the next time I shall bid you farewell and take care.